Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Today we have some pretty incredible news that could have a big impact on your finances. The IRS just made a massive announcement, and it has a lot of people talking they're going to start sending out $6,000 stimulus checks starting as soon as January 8th, and this could be the financial relief many of you have been waiting for. But wait, not everyone will qualify, so in this video, I'm going to break down who exactly will be getting these payments and how you can make sure you're in the running to receive them. So if you're curious, make sure to stick around. This update is super important and could help a lot of you out in the next few days. Alright, let's dive right into it. The big news is that the IRS is now sending out $6,000 checks to eligible Americans, and the first wave of these payments is expected to hit bank accounts as soon as January 8th. I know it might sound like an old stimulus check from the past, but this is actually part of a new relief initiative designed to support people who are still struggling due to the aftereffects of inflation, the economic challenges from the pandemic, and rising living costs. And if you think about it, a $6,000 payment could make a huge difference, especially with how expensive everything has become lately. But there's one important thing to note: not everyone will get this payment. The IRS has set up certain eligibility criteria, which means that some people will get this financial boost while others won't. So if you're wondering, am I going to get that $6,000 check? Well, I'm here to walk you through who qualifies and how you can check if you're one of them. First up, let's talk about the eligibility requirements. It's important to know that these payments are targeted to individuals and families who are still struggling financially, so not everyone will receive them. For individuals, the IRS has set an income threshold of $75,000. If you make under $75,000 per year, you could be eligible for the full $6,000 check. If you're married and filing jointly, the income limit goes up to $150,000. But here's the thing: these payments aren't all or nothing. There's actually a tiered system, so if you make a little bit more than the cutoff, don't worry, you could still qualify for a partial payment. For example, if you're an individual making between $75,000 and $100,000, or a married couple making between $150,000 and $200,000, you may receive a smaller check, but you still could get something. So, even if your income is above these limits, you may not be completely out of luck. It's worth checking your eligibility. But that's not all. The IRS isn't just looking at income, they're also taking into account your dependents. This is where things start to get interesting for families. If you have kids or other dependents, you could see an even bigger check. For every child under 18 that you claim as a dependent, you'll get an additional $1,500. And if your child is a college student between the ages of 18 and 24 and is still dependent on you, you could get up to $3,000 per student. So, if you have a larger family, that $6,000 could easily turn into something much higher, depending on how many children you're claiming. Imagine having 2 or 3 kids and getting an extra $1,500 or $3,000 per child. That can add up quickly, and it's certainly a lifeline for families who are feeling the weight of inflation and other financial pressures. Now, let's address a key question: what about Social Security recipients? If you're someone who relies on Social Security, either due to retirement benefits, disability, or supplemental security income, SSI, you're in luck. The IRS has made it clear that people who are receiving Social Security benefits will also be eligible for these payments. That's right, if you're a senior citizen or a person with disabilities who depends on Social Security, you could still get this stimulus payment. This is a big win for a lot of people who don't usually benefit from these types of relief payments, so make sure you check your eligibility as well. So now that we've covered who qualifies, let's talk about how you'll get your money. If you're eligible for the stimulus check, there are 2 main ways you could receive it: direct deposit or paper check. If you've already filed your taxes for the year and have provided your bank account information to the IRS, you're in luck. You'll likely receive your payment via direct deposit, which is the fastest way to get your money. Direct deposit payments could begin as early as January 8th, and depending on your bank, it may only take a few business days for the money to show up in your account. So, if you've been keeping an eye on your account for that extra cash, you might see it hit soon. But what if you haven't set up direct deposit, or you don't have your account info on file with the IRS? Well, don't worry, the IRS will also be sending out paper checks to those who don't have direct deposit set up. This could take a little longer. You might have to wait up to 4 weeks for your paper check to arrive in the mail, but the good news is, it's on its way. But what if you haven't filed your taxes for 2022 yet? Well, don't panic, there's still time, but you need to act quickly. The IRS will only send these payments to people who have filed taxes for the 2022 tax year, so if you haven't filed yet, it's really important to get that done as soon as possible. Don't wait until the last minute, because the IRS will need time to process your information and issue your payment. If you haven't filed yet, I suggest doing so right away, especially if you're counting on that $6,000 to help with expenses in the near future. And here's something else you'll want to keep in mind. The IRS has a tool called Get My Payment that you can use to track your payment status. This tool allows you to see when your payment is expected to arrive and if there are any issues with your payment. If you've already filed your taxes and set up your direct deposit info, you'll be able to check the status of your payment and even find out when it's going to land in your account. And if you're still unsure whether you qualify for the $6,000 check or need to update your details with the IRS, you can also use this tool to update your banking information or address. It's always a good idea to keep your info up to date with the IRS, especially if you've moved recently or changed bank accounts. If you're not sure whether or not you'll qualify, I strongly recommend using the IRS's online tools to check your eligibility. It's quick and easy, and it'll give you a clear answer on whether or not you'll be receiving a payment. But even if you're not eligible for this round of payments, there are still other government relief programs available to help you out. Programs like housing assistance, food stamps, and unemployment benefits can provide relief if you're struggling financially. So, even if you don't get the $6,000, don't forget that there are still options to help you make it through tough times. Now, before we wrap up, let me remind you that this is just the first wave of payments. The IRS will be processing these payments through the end of January, so if you don't see your check right away, don't worry. You'll likely get your payment within the next few weeks. And if there's any issue, you can always contact the IRS to get it sorted out. With everything going on right now, this could be the financial boost that a lot of people need to get back on their feet, so it's definitely worth making sure you're eligible and that your information is updated. So, that's it for today's update, everyone. The $6,000 stimulus checks are about to roll out, and if you meet the eligibility requirements, you could be receiving that extra financial relief very soon. Be sure to check your eligibility, file your taxes if you haven't already, and keep an eye out for your payment. If this video helped you understand everything you need to know, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update like this again. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or if you're expecting to get your check soon. I love hearing from all of you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, everyone.